Welcome to this week's episode of The Seventh Floor, UALR student-produced series for Arkansas. I'm Josh Smith.
And I'm Brianka Taylor. Today we will be exploring African American history through the Institute of Racial Ethnicity and revisit important moments in history from right here in Arkansas.
We will also be visiting the historic Central High School and how the school was made history with its desegregation event. More on that in Hidden Treasures.
Arkansas Eats, we will be bringing you to an Italian-American bar and restaurant known for its fresh food and friendly atmosphere.
In Art for Art's sake, Emily will be profiling a UALR student who will offer her insight into the behind-the-scenes process of theater production.
And finally, let's not forget #Random, where Dr. Giese will be sharing his perspective on the world. Today's topic will cover death and how we should perceive it. More of that coming up later.
The issue of racial integration in the United States, and particularly in Arkansas, is a long one going back to the original of the 13 colonies. Although much has changed from that time, lingering issues still remain, but one institution is trying to make a difference and inspire others to overcome these issues.
Although racial mistrust still remains, the Institute of Racial Ethnicity is trying to bring all people together into one harmonious society of acceptance and diversity. The institution was integrated into the University of Arkansas in Little Rock in the hopes that education could combat racial attitudes and build bridges between all people. Our correspondent, Charles, has more on the story. The Institute of Racial Ethnicity is an entity of UALR prowess created to deal with an issue that is often evaded by the masses of people. This brainchild of Chancellor Joel Anderson and the committee of various others have taken on the task to lead an open forum on racial issues. Their forum covers a wide array of issues within the campus of UALR, throughout the community of Little Rock and the communities of Arkansas. While these issues exist in our everyday lives, we have a tendency to pretend that they don't. The Institute erases this type of attitude towards this dilemma.
Hello, my name is Donna L. Shelton. I'm the Web Communications Specialist for the UALR Institute on Race and Ethnicity. The Institute was founded in July of 2011 at the 50th anniversary of the Freedom Riders. The Institute is a project that is the brainchild of Chancellor Joel E. Anderson. Since his tenure started in 2003, Chancellor Anderson has made it his mission to address race relations in the entire state of Arkansas. So the Institute is an organization that our mission is not confined to the campus of our university here at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. Much of what we do is community focused, community minded, and always community thinking.
To understand the development of the Institute on Race and Ethnicity at UALR, you have to first of all understand that UALR is a metropolitan university, an engaged university, and one that has embraced its community. We see ourselves as partners with the community, and I am just always amazed at the number of departments across campus, faculty members, and students in a variety of programs that in one way or another are out in the community and connecting their university.
For 10 years, Chancellor Anderson has charged the Institute of Government to collect survey data from residents living in the Pulaski County area about race relations. Different topics are discussed yearly. Some years we have discussed social values. Other years we have talked about health, access to health care. This year the topic is on crime and punishment.
And I'm especially happy to be able to participate in the ongoing conversation on racial disparities in the criminal justice system. Process of mass incarceration reproduces so many of the problems that it pretends to solve. to bring all of this together that we've tried to discuss this evening, I'll use a phrase that I got from Dr. Martin Luther King. Justice is indivisible, and injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. We need peace and equality and justice for us all.
Well, I wanted to work at the Institute because I wanted to be a part of bringing about positive change in race relations in Arkansas. Like everyone else who's grown up in Arkansas, you grow up hearing about the desegregation of Little Rock Central High and the problems that caused in the city of Little Rock, as well as all of the other stories about race relations. And when I heard that there was to be an Institute on Race and Ethnicity on the UALR campus, I was proud to hear that the Chancellor was taking on this issue. I think that it's important for Arkansas to have an institute like this because it will eventually end structural racism.
The Institute has kept a busy schedule, scheduling major events here at the university, such as Angela Davis speaking on criminal justice, and recently celebrating a 10th anniversary of surveying racial perceptions and attitudes research forum. Chancellor Anderson said he expects UALR to continue the research well into the future, and they hope that the data will truly be a valuable resource.
Their mission and goal is to seek racial and ethnic justice in Arkansas by remembering and understanding the past, informing and engaging the present, and shaping and defining the future. UALR established the Institute on Race and Ethnicity in late 2011 after 7 years of comprehensive planning, research, and public discussion led by Chancellor Joel Anderson. Again, the Institute is poised today to become a statewide forum for direct conversation, focused action, and systematic change by bringing people of diverse backgrounds together through scholarly research, public forums, and action-driven initiatives to foster civic renewal and reconciliation. The university launched this important work with the firm belief that the fundamentals of respect, tolerance, dignity, and cultural understanding begin at the local level, and that local success on a problem that exists all across the nation will have national significance and impact. As a doctoral research institution and as a community-engaged university, UALR has the most diverse collegiate student body in Arkansas.
It sure is great to see people out there giving their time to truly make a difference while also trying to make the world a better place.
I am grateful as well, and the 7th floor always appreciates the support of our local community. We offer a special thank you to all the people who contribute to making our state a better place for all.
Well, coming up after the break, Hidden Treasures will take us to revisit a historical time and place that happened right here in Little Rock. More on that coming up next. Stay tuned.
Little Rock is a great place to attend law school because there are so many unique opportunities here. There are internship opportunities with the Arkansas legislature and the executive branch. Those are opportunities that you just don't find in other locations.
UALR is situated in Little Rock, the capital city. It's a great place to get connected.
I receive emails as an alumni, and I know employers in the area do contact UALR because they know UALR has the contacts of their future employees.
Today, Hidden Treasures will be visiting Central High School, the first school in Arkansas to be desegregated and known for the famous Little Rock Nine. These 9 African-American students were the brave souls who took a chance at desegregation and rose above the opposition to set a new path for racial integrity. Here is Teresa with the story. In the summer of 1957, the city of Little Rock, Arkansas made plans to desegregate its public schools. Within a week of the 1954 landmark Supreme Court decision striking down racial segregation in public schools, Arkansas was one of 2 southern states to announce it would begin immediately to take steps to comply with new law of the land. Arkansas Law School had been integrated since 1949. By 1957, 7 of its 8 state universities had desegregated. Blacks had been appointed to state boards and elected to local offices. Little Rock felt it could break down the barriers of segregation in its schools with a carefully developed program. But the smooth transition to the school system's integration was not to be. In the fall of 1957, Little Rock became a symbol of state resistance to school desegregation. Arkansas Governor Orville E. Faubus directly questioned the sanctity of the federal court system and the authority of the United States Supreme Court's desegregation ruling, while 9 African American high school students sought an education at the all-white Little Rock Central High School. The controversy in Little Rock was the first fundamental test of the United States' resolve to enforce African American civil rights in the face of massive Southern defiance during the period following Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka decisions. In 1999, the Little Rock Nine each received the Congressional Gold Medal, our national highest civilian honor, for their efforts to desegregate Little Rock Central High School. Little Rock Central High School is a National Historical Site. Located across the intersection from the school, the Little Rock Central High School National Historic Site Visitor Center contains interactive exhibits on the 1957 desegregation crisis of Little Rock Central High. The original Visitor Center, a refurbished mobile gas station across the street from the high school, was formally opened as the Central High School Museum Visitor Center in September 1997. It is now used for special programs. The Civil Rights Memorial sculpture of the Little Rock Nine African American students that courageously integrated Little Rock Central High School in 1957 is situated on the northern side of the Capitol building. It faces the governor's office window. It is the only civil rights memorial located on any state capitol grounds in the South.
I can only imagine what the Little Rock Nine were feeling at that time. It must have been seriously so difficult for them.
Yes, it certainly was. But I believe that their courage and strength made a difference. And I hope that their story can inspire us to be strong and work together for a better future as Americans.
Certainly, I must say so, and I hope so. And I'm glad when I see just how much we've changed over the last few years and become more acceptable as people ourselves. Well, it's truly remarkable. Well, after the break, Arkansas Eats will be taking you to an Italian bar and restaurant where you can enjoy food and good company. Stay tuned.
If I ride, I will know the way the trees smell after the rain. I will grow a heart so strong that hospitals will take Tuesdays off. If I ride, road rage will turn into laughter, and oil tankers will haul chocolate milk. And I won't be a boy or a girl. I will just be a rider.
Welcome back to the 7th floor. Previously, we fed our minds with the history of Central High School and the famous Little Rock Nine. But now, it is time to feed our bodies with some good Arkansas food.
Certainly is true. I am hungry as we speak. Every week, Arkansas Eats searches across Central Arkansas for great locally owned restaurants to present to us in a wide variety of foods and locations. Today, Italian is on the menu as Arkansas Eats will be showing us where to find good food and good company. Our correspondent Andy has the story.
Hi, I'm Andy and welcome to this week's Arkansas Eats. Today we have a great show for you. Today we're at Pizza de Action, located right at the intersection of Markham and Kavanaugh. We've been hearing a lot of great things about it, so let's go inside and get a slice. We had the opportunity to speak with Kathy, staff manager, and this is what she told us about her position and Pizza de Action.
My name's Kathy Jordan. I'm a server / manager, front of the house, just, bartender type stuff, just anything they need in the front. On the menu, we offer all different types of stuff. We're Italian American. Our best product is definitely the pizza, the wings, and our cheeseburgers. But I mean, like I said, nothing is bad on the menu, but those are my 3 favorites for sure. Working here is a blast. We just have a great time. Everybody that works here, we're all one big family. We all get along. All the customers, they're part of the family. We just, it's fun. It's good food. A lot of, we just have a great time. Potential customers, I would love for them to become part of the family. We've been here for 35 years plus. And I would just like anybody that hasn't been here before, I would love for them to come in and just check it out. Our hours at Pizza de Action are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30 a.m., Saturday noon until 12:30 a.m., and Sunday 10:30 a.m. until 11:30 p.m.
Well, I got my pizza here, which is a signature dish that I have. It's the pizza de resistance. It looks amazing. It's got fresh vegetables, tomatoes, onions. Also has a large selection of meats such as salami, pepperoni, and homemade sausage. Looks great. I can't wait to see how it tastes. Great, you can taste all the fresh vegetables, the hints of basil and everything. It's a great sliced pizza. So, well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you this week on Arkansas Eats. Until next time, back to you in the studio.
Well, I don't even tell you how much I love food, but my gosh, that pizza looked amazing. Like it just loaded with full of the good, great meats and the vegetables you can think of, that's for sure. I can't wait to get a bite.
All of that food just looks so colorful and fresh. I think it might be a good place to relax after a stressful day with some fresh food and a cool beverage.
You sure got that correct. Well, we should go sometime, maybe just to enjoy a Razorback game or just chill for a while after work. Well, coming up after the break, Art for Art's Sake will be introducing us to an upcoming artist in our state. Stay tuned.
I'm Sandra Fry. I'm a union bus driver, and I'm also a mom. During 17 years with Greyhound, I've covered over 2 million miles. My job is to safely bring families together. I love the open road, but I never forget that a drowsy or careless driver could be right around the next curve. Drunk driving is the deadliest of all. As a mom and as a bus driver, I have a message for you. If you drink, don't drive.
Welcome back to the 7th floor. Previously, we showed you where you could receive a good Italian bistro and good company. But now it's time to grace our other senses with the wonders of art.
Today, we will be taking an inside look into the artistic processes needed for theater production. UALR student Makita will be showing us how she does costume design and theater videography for the theater department, which includes everything from lighting to directing the set. Our correspondent Emily has more on the story.
Welcome back to Art for Art's Sake. I'm your host, Emily Wold. Over the past several weeks, we've explored many disciplines within the performing arts. This week, we'll take a look behind the scenes and delve into production and design. Makita Thompson is a senior at UALR pursuing a double major in theater arts with emphasis in costume design and mass communications production and design.
As a costume designer and a videographer, I am a visual storyteller. I use clothes through costume design to tell a visual story and images on the screen through film to tell stories. It's a matter of a collaborative process with a team of directors, designers, and many, many, many more people to go through this process to create a story.
During her time at UALR, Makita has designed costumes for 2 fully realized main stage productions, Visiting Mr. Green by Jeff Barron and The Bacchae of Euripides.
A question I often receive when I tell people my majors is, oh, what are you going to do with that? And they'll say, you know, are you going to be on the news? Or, oh, so you're going to pick out clothes? And those are part of the world, but it's not a fair description of what I want to do. I chose filmmaking and costume design because I couldn't pick one or the other.
Makita states that both fields come with their own unique challenges, but in terms of the paperwork and the collaborative process, there's a lot of crossover.
There are certain aspects that cross over, like production meetings, talking to designers, and everybody else that's in your crew happens in both worlds. And there are mountains of paperwork that nobody thinks about when you watch a movie that have to happen. So my 2 majors aren't mutually exclusive. It's a matter of, okay, I learned this in theater and I can apply that here in my mass comm classes, or hey, I learned this in mass comm and I can cross this over to theater. So it's really advantageous to be in both worlds because of the skill set that I can use in both.
In speaking to her early experiences as a student filmmaker, Makita remarked, "My second short was for a cinema techniques class and it was a disaster."
We pulled our actors from Friends and we shot it at my parents' house in one weekend and edited it in the next week. So there were just holes in the plot line. The footage itself is really pretty, and I think had we have had more time, it could have been a really nice piece. It was just, we bit off more than we can chew. But the learning curve that came from that project was pretty incredible, because there were things we had to deal with without an instructor nearby that, I still remember, and I won't ever make that same mistake again because of that experience. I got to work with some really great people, and we still work together today, so it was a really great process.
Makita attributes her go-getter attitude to her parents. That's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed taking a look behind the scenes of stage and film. We'll see you next time on Art for Art's Sake.
I think it is amazing what one person can do to set up for the big opening night. There's just so much that goes on behind the scenes that I am glad we get to see,
Yep, I thought it was very fascinating, and she is very talented as well. I just love all those costumes. Do you think maybe she could design one for me and you?
I don't know. Maybe you should ask her. I mean, she might be able to make time for you.
You mean for us? We need a costume for the both of us, because we are a team. Maybe a king and queen costume, superheroes. What do you think about the space uniform?
Right. Moving on. Now it is time for our most peculiar and thought-provoking part of the show, #Random, where Dr. Giese shares with us his perspective on the world and parts of our everyday lives.
Today, Dr. Giese will be sharing his thoughts into how we should view death. Although this can be a difficult subject to talk about, Dr. Giese hopes that what he has to say will change how you see it and make it a little easier to cope with. Brace yourself for #Random.
Let's talk about death. I just got married recently, and so naturally my thoughts turn toward death. Well, perhaps not naturally, but I do have to make out a new will that adds my new bride. On top of that, my dad is 87. I know this may sound a little morbid, but these things and a couple of other things in my life, a friend I think very highly of informed me that she had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Anyway, all of this served to remind me that death is always just around the corner. What we tend to forget especially if we happen to be on the young side of the journey, is that it is a journey and the destination is always the same. As Jim Morrison of the Doors once said, no one gets out alive. One of the reasons I want to talk about death is that I think perhaps we may need to change the way we think about it. Our society tends to treat death like it doesn't exist, or maybe, because it's inevitable, we can safely ignore death. And that is true. Death is a happening thing, regardless of whether we think about it or not. So why bother? Well, I think there are at least a couple of reasons to think about death, especially your own. Yeah, I know, right? Pretty morbid. Well, actually, as it turns out, maybe not. The first reason you may want to plan for your own demise is that it makes the transition easier on those people in your life that love you the most and that you love the most. I lost my mama several years ago. She was 83. It was very sad, but much better than it might have been because my mom and my dad planned for the event. After a long illness, my mother decided that she wasn't going back into the hospital, so we put her on hospice care. She lasted about 10 days. But during that time, we all got a chance to say goodbye, and in some small way, she actually helped us mourn her passing before she actually passed away. Without that planning, none of that would have been possible. It also made her passing much less painful for all of us. Another reason you might want to acknowledge death is that you never know when it's going to be knocking at your door. If you're young, it's easy to avoid thinking about death. After all, many, many years ahead of you, right? No need to put together a bucket list for right now, right? I got a couple of more stories for you. I lost my younger sister about 4 years ago, brain tumor, inoperable. 6 months to live. We did get a chance to say goodbye to her, mostly because of our parents' example, and so she and her husband, even though they were relatively young, had made a plan. But my sister was about to retire, and she and her husband were looking forward to doing all the fun things that they had put off while they raised their family. She lived a good life, and she had planned for her own death, but it came way before she expected it and way before she was ready. The other story is pretty tragic. The person that died was no relation to me. He was even younger than my sister, in his 20s, I think. He was hiking on Mount Pettigene a few months ago and got too close to the edge of a 200-foot cliff and fell to his death. I'm pretty sure he didn't see that coming. I know you can't plan for something like that. On the other hand, you can plan, even if you're young. Plan on living your life, however long or short it might be, so that if you were to be able to look back on it from the afterlife, you would be proud of what you did and how you lived. Death is always with us, so I think it's important to acknowledge its constant companionship and not be afraid. On the other hand, #random is not, and that's it for this time. I'll see you next time. Good Lord willing. And I don't get hit by a bus.
That was a very emotion-felt topic for Geesey. It's not one that we are familiar with discussing, but I think that message was important for all of us.
Yeah, and I think he's right. Each of us should remember that we need to make the most of what we have and that our lives need to be lived in meaningful ways. We should start all doing, a little part to make a difference, both for those around us and for ourselves.
You're right. I know that is true. From the stories that we had today, from trying to overcome racial stereotypes, the courage of the Little Rock Nine, and then even Dr. Geesey's thoughts on death, I feel that there are many examples of people who can serve as an inspiration to us, even in a very small way, but to be better people and to live more completely.
Yep, certainly. And here's hoping that we all learn from the people who would come before us and to make our lives better as well. Well, that's all we have today on the 7th floor, but we will be back next week with even more stories to capture you. Good day to you all, and remember, always look both ways before crossing. See you next time.